So here we are in the journey of becoming new humans. Part of what I wanted to bring into our collective today is I did draw a word, and the word for our day, where are we, is healing. The word is healing. And the healing aspect of this is for us to really understand that what's happening is a deep, 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 deep sense of they're saying like quantum, galactic, infinite healing is what's happening. Part of this awakening process is really just awakening to remember, right? I'm really playing a lot with what we're doing is we're just deconstructing or decoding the sequences that have been offered to our memory banks, right? Or programmed within our consciousness that has kept us away from the remembrance, right? Remembering, reattaching back to the truth of who we are. And when we awaken, it's not that anything new is coming in, right? It's not like you have to learn something. It's not like you have to go find something. It's that you are remembering back to the truth of your greatest wisdom. You are back in the membrane, right? In the membrane of who you are at soul level. So really what we're doing is remembering. That is the awakening. And so there's a couple of things that are coming up that want to give voice as we're in the process of our healing, that wanted to be given voice to. And as I said, there's so many things coming through right now. But one of them is, really when we get to the core, and I'm really privileged to be with a lot of people in service through this awakening process, one-on-one and group-wise and otherwise. So I only say that because it's like there's a lot of capacity to take a lot of temperature to see, right? To inform like what's really happening here. And one of the things that I believe is fundamentally at the core of our ascension, our remembering, our awakening, is really getting back to this space, this place of knowing that you are enough. Okay, so we can come to this understanding that everything resonates from fear or from love. Fear, 3D, love, multidimensionality, 5D or higher, right? Love or above, right? These are the two basic constructs, fear or love. And then the self-inquiry is really, am I enough? And are you in the operation of fear capacity about your enoughness, about your value? Are you in a full unconditional love expression of your enoughness and your value? And so how do we know that we're valuable? How do we know that we are enough just as we are? How do we know that? So there's so many programs and so much that has been instilled in us, within us, around us for so long to deconstruct our basic enoughness, right? To deconstruct this I am enough. And what we get to remember is to reconstruct into the actual truth that you are enough just as you are because you exist. And so how do we know this? Well, as I see it, being a human being on the planet right now, a soul expressed in human form on the planet right now supersedes so much. Like we as humans are the galactic praise right now is what I want to say. Like, you're a human? Wow. Because we are here for the greatest show on earth, not just to witness it, but to be it, to create it, to activate it, right? Like we are here in presence as soul beings to help to be the awakening of the consciousness of all of humanity at large. That's super special. That's supersonic special. And I know that you are a special, amazing, extraordinary soul because you're existing here on this human plane at this monumental time that has never before been experienced, or not for a very, very, very long time, and never in this way. So you are extraordinary because you exist as a human in this form at this time, being part of the transformation, right? That is otherworldly, celebratory. Okay. So how you choose to express your I am enoughness is really up to you. And part of it is that you get to make a choice all the time. Are my thoughts, are my words, are my actions, are my deeds aligned with a deep cellular, cellular resonance that I am fundamentally enough as I am? Or are you destroying, destructing that which is around you, because the fundamental belief system that's running underneath the mechanism is that somehow I am not enough? So what realm are you playing in? And we're all playing in all the realms all the time, but what you choose to be your predominant expression, your predominant belief system, is what's going to inform everything else. So the offer today, my friends, is to really get into that I am enough because I exist, and that nothing more needs to be proven through that, because your presence on this planet is far exceeding it all. So this also brings me back into a word I'm playing a lot with, and I believe it's a word that's going to really come into presence in this as August energies are rolling in, which is the word sovereignty. It's really been a big play for me right now. Sovereignty. So even going into like, what is the definition of sovereignty? You know, it's really about rulership. It's about, if you go into Webster's definition, it talks about like, you know, government or institutions being sovereign over like kind of rulership. And so the opportunity, which is an interesting thing that we're experiencing on so many levels right now, right? So the invitation and the play where I am currently and what I'm offering or inviting you into is, where does your sovereignty lie? And are you in the conviction and committed to being in your sovereign source, you as source, and in your own sovereignty, which means really that you govern thyself and through creation, creator, as the creator that you are. So where you have attached your sovereignty to any external mechanisms or means, and this is subtle and it's hard to see because it's programs, the invitation is to move back into a sovereignty of self and an understanding of self as the sovereignty of creation and as the creator. My truth is truth. As I see it, know it, and perceive it, and I can be ruled by nothing outside of myself. Self-sovereignty. There's a significant amount of power in that. So the beauty of this is that first you must identify that you are of worth, of value. I am enough because I exist, so that you can then trust the fullness of your own sovereignty, of your own inner wisdom, of that which you know to be true. Not because your mind knows it to be true, but because your being has resonance. You know, just like the video I posted beneath or above this one in the collective. Do you choose fear? Do you choose freedom? It's of your sovereignty to be in the choosing of. And how you can come into a space of choosing that is by getting really clear. This is not thought, it's all vibration. Everything's vibration, right? So when you are sitting in an experience or an expression of something, does it feel good? Does it activate freedom within your memory bank? Or does it elevate you to a higher frequency of fear? And when you are in a space of fear, you are offering your sovereignty, the sovereignty to another being, to another thought, to another organization, to something that is outside of yourself. So your choice, my friends, is, are you self-sovereigning? And are you in the awareness that you are enough and connected deeply enough and wise enough and brilliant enough that your sovereignty has value? And in fact, it is the pathway to your freedom, self-sovereignty. So you have all the answers within you. And that which is, I really have to give voice to that which is distorting. And there's a lot of distorting frequencies. They have always been here with us. It's just as the paradigm, I will call them, or let's call it a paradigm. As the paradigms are collapsing, right? And the walls have to collapse of 3D for the light of 5D to rise behind them, or 4D, or even up to 8, 9D. We're moving in density rapidly. But that which has been constructed as the wall to create the illusion, I've said this before, I see it as the walls deconstructing, falling down, so the sun might rise, the light might rise behind them. These are all already in place, right? But we have to watch one crumble for the other to rise. So as that is rising, and as it is crumbling and rising, right, we're in this frequency of exchange, then you get to come back into this space of being within the truth of your own sovereignty and choosing the vibrational frequency that brings you the greatest light, the greatest joy, the greatest freedom. That is your purpose on this planet at this time of great transformation, is to be in your highest frequency, which means in a lot of ways that if anything outside of you is activating a frequency of fear, then it is to be, I almost want to say, dismissed. Now, what happens is our minds say, well, I'm not just going to bury my head in the sand. There's things going on out here. This is scary. This is dangerous. Does the information you're taking in make you feel good? Does it make you feel free? Does it make you feel more love? Does it make you feel more light? No matter what it is. Even if it's watching a bird fly. What expression is watching the flight of that bird? What is it offering to you? And is it offering to you something that brings you into greater sovereignty, into greater love, into greater light, and into your greatest expression of freedom? This is your free will. This is all of your choosing. All of it. It's all of our co-creation. It's all of our choosing. And how you choose to feel based on what you're choosing to take in is what's going to bring you into your greatest freedom. It's all your choice, my friends. So with that being said, moving back to I am enough. There's nothing outside of you that will guarantee your enoughness. It's all inside of you to remember, reconnecting the points of remembrance, remembering back to self, the truth of who you are as an infinite light being. Not just some of us, all of us, all the time. This is what we are remembering. And when you come into that, then the next opportunity is the truth of your sovereignty, to know that your will and your truth and your inner wisdom is the expression of your greatest freedom. When you are dismissing that which comes from the outside and remembering that which comes from the truth of your inside. This card is the 7 card. I just drew it. Release the dark wound, let love live. This is so perfectly attuned to what it is that we are speaking to. Here is a fish moving into water, right? Coming to life. It was bone and dark. And as it enters into the deep pool of the new, it is refreshed and comes to life. And the number of this card is the number 25, which is 5 plus 2 is 7, which is the number of heaven to earth, right? 7 goes straight across heaven and down to earth. So here we are in the activation of consciousness of awakening of humanity, as that which has been stripped away and made void of color and void of light is offered into the deep well of transformation so that it may be brought back to its fullness, to its expression, to swim freely, to love deeply. This is how we heal, my friends. This is why we're here. You have everything alive within inside of you to remember who you are and to usher us collectively through this portal, through this pathway of awakening, so that we may, in fact, be our greatest expression. And no matter what is resisting against it, you have sovereignty to find the light to lead you home. That's why we're here. I love you. Be light, be well.